David Tua with just one loss on his resume, and these are two fighters clearly at a crossroads as they come in with title implications. They'll fight for some minor titles on this evening's card. The IBF Intercontinental Championship at stake, along with the USBA Heavyweight Championship, as you get a earful of some of the festivities associated with Tua's entrance into the ring. But the winner of this fight is in line for Evander Holyfield. So whoever comes out of the ring with a victory tonight puts himself in great shape in terms of the heavyweight division.
Well, of course, Holyfield's got a fight coming up with a guy named Lennox Lewis. It remains to be seen what happens there. David Tua enters the ring. He is from West Samoa, although he grew up in Auckland, New Zealand, and he just exploded onto the boxing scene with a 19-second knockout of John Ruiz back in March of 1996. A couple of fights later was the controversial decision loss to Ike Ibeabuchi. However, since that time, Tua has won 5 in a row. This is clearly his toughest test to date against the undefeated Hasim the Rock Rahman.
And this is a fight that has all the components of a great one. You're going to see talent with both men, power in the terms of both guys, and also one of the elements that you sometimes can't count on as an intangible, and that's bad blood. And it's pouring heavily. Even at the press conference, the pre-fight get-together that they had for this fight, Hasim Rahman challenging Lou Duva. He'll work the corner of David Tua tonight, and they got into an exchange verbally, nearly a physical exchange, and there's a lot of ill feeling between the two camps and the two factions for this one.
Well, as you look at Hasim Rahman coming towards the ring, what happened was Rahman, who had a promotional deal with the promoter of this fight, Cedric Kushner, apparently took $100,000 US to join the ranks of Don King. King never delivered any fights for him. He left King, came back to Kushner, and Lou Duva assailed both Rahman and his management team for slighting Cedric Kushner at the press conference. Rahman grabbed the microphone, said to all who would listen, "Hey, why don't you tell the whole story? Why don't you tell us how your relation, Dino Duva, tried to get Rahman to leave Kushner as well with a promotional offer," and that, of course, sent Lou, going wild and, the usual stuff. But they didn't get into it. I think Lou, at this point, more of a curmudgeonly figure than anybody that's going to be a serious protagonist. As you get a good look at Hasim Rahman entering the ring with a major height and reach advantage over David Tua, who has shown incredible power in the past on national and international television.
A couple of keys in Rahman's favor as he enters the ring for this fight. You saw the size differential, and David Tua is a guy who's always punching up as he tries to make his way through the heavyweight division. He's done it very successfully so far, but he has a stiff challenge tonight as Hasim Rahman climbs into the ring. Let's get the official introductions. We go to the center of the ring, and our ring announcer, Mark Biro.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Miccosukee Indian Gaming near Miami, Florida, for an evening of World Championship Boxing on HBO Sports. Under the promotion of Cedric Kushner Promotions, the matchmaker is Eric Botcher. Tonight's bouts are under the auspices of the Florida State Athletic Commission, the chairman, Alvin Goodman, vice chairman, Dr. Jack Gugino, commissioners, Terry James, Eric Riley, and Aleida Waldman. Ring officials assigned by the Florida State Athletic Commission. Your ringside physicians are Chief Physician Dr. Alan Fields and Dr. Ramon Garcia Septien. Your timekeeper is the cheerful Carmine Chirichella. And counting for the knockdowns at the bell, the alternate referee, Jorge Alonso. Ladies and gentlemen, Cedric Kushner Promotions in association with Main Events Monitor, HBO Sports, and Budweiser. This Bud's for You presents 12 rounds for the IBA Intercontinental and USBA Heavyweight Championships. Mandatory box off. Your ring officials assigned by the International Boxing Federation and United States Boxing Association, IBF and USBA President Robert W. Lee. Your judges at ringside are from Chicago, Illinois, Mike Gliena, from Arlington, Virginia, Sheila Harmon Martin. And from Miami, Florida, Rocky Young. Your referee for this event from Jacksonville, Florida, Teles Asimenios. Introducing now the principals first in the blue corner to my right, wearing the black trunks with the white accessories. He weighs in at 224.5 pounds. His professional record reads 32 victories, 1 defeat, 27 wins coming by way of knockout. He hails from the Isle of Samoa and now boxes out of South Auckland, New Zealand. Former WBC Continental America's heavyweight champion, David Tua. His opponent in the red corner, wearing the black trunks, red and white trim. He weighs in at 234.5 pounds. He is undefeated in 29 professional bouts, 24 wins coming by way of knockout. He boxes out of Baltimore, Maryland, the IBF Intercontinental and USBA heavyweight champion, Hasim the Rock Rahman. 12 rounds for the IBF Intercontinental and USBA heavyweight championships.
One cornerman, please. One cornerman. Take your shirt off. Take your shirt off.
Rahman, a little gamesmanship perhaps, as he turns his back on Tua to take his shirt off before the referee can give the instruction.
You have received instructions in the dressing rooms. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourselves at all times. Do you have any questions? The belt is positioned properly, so from here down is a low blow. I know we had some concerns. I wish you good luck. May God bless you. Shake hands, please.
Getting set now for a moment of truth here. This one's scheduled for 12 rounds. For the IBF Intercontinental and USBA heavyweight championships, and a mandatory would be forced if Evander Holyfield could retain his title over Lennox Lewis in an upcoming fight. Hasim Rahman and David Tua scheduled for 12 rounds.
This is one, Jeff, if you don't want to take a break, go to the refrigerator, relieve yourself, or whatever. This is a fight that could end at any time. Big puncher in David Tua, and going up against the undefeated Rahman.
I don't imagine finesse will be a big part of this fight, especially in the early going, as these two big heavyweights try to carve out their territory. David Tua, terrific body puncher.
But as you can see here in the early stages of the fight, coming in as he does with a height and reach disadvantage, Rahman having no trouble finding him with either hand. And for Tua, who, as you pointed out most aptly, punching up and losing maybe a little power, although he is a powerful puncher nonetheless, he can't afford to wait till the late rounds because he's not going to have that punching power, and appeared to tire a little bit against Abiyabuchi in his only loss.
Rahman legitimized his heavyweight candidacy in '97, going back to November, win over Obed Sullivan.
And Rahman being warned for elbowing David Tua, coming with that elbow when they get into close quarters, and referee Teles Asimenios will have none of it.
Feeling out process underway here. First minute of round number 1. Hasim the Rock Rahman appears to be the epitome of cool as he comes into the ring. Dry as a bone, usually a bad sign for a fighter.
Yet, for surprisingly, Rahman, even though he's got a pretty good left jab and the monster height and reach advantage we talked about, is willing to go at close quarters with Tua, which surprises me a little bit. I would have thought he would have been sticking and moving a little bit more, a la Muhammad Ali, or just many other fighters, Jimmy Young, perhaps, that may not have the power advantage unless he thinks that he can take out Tua.
Tua, the aggressor early on, has had some success firing shots to the body, tries to come upstairs, to no avail.
And at least at this stage, seems to have the crowd in his favor. as I say that,
I think you inspired some Rahman chants.
obviously. Well, that's great. Fans on both sides here cheering on their favorite fighter in this pivotal heavyweight contest.
And really a toss-up in terms of the odds on this fight. Odds in Las Vegas for this fight dead even. David Tua and Hasim the Rock Rahman. A pick and fight here on the board.
So far in the early action, you have to give a slight edge to Rahman only because he's landing more. He's landing that left jab fairly often. He's landed some rights. Tua, as he always does, looking for that one big shot to take out his opponent.
Well, you can see where the size could eventually pose some serious problems for David Tua, as it has in previous fights. And that loss to Abeyabuchi's rebounded nicely from that with several knockouts. But tries to get inside, misses with the left hand, and Rahman can't make him pay. There's the end of round number 1.
A little surprised in that round at Rahman allowing Tua to pin him on the ropes like that. Tua did land some good body shots in that round, even though I thought Rahman was the busier fighter.
Now we go to Rahman's corner now, and his handler is Chuck McGregor.
Relax and keep that jab in his face. Now look at me. You can beat this guy for 12 rounds with moving in a jab just by changing a little direction. Take some deep breaths and relax.
Don't intimidate this guy. Hurt this guy.
I want you to go fast punches with this guy.
Now come on, let's hurt this guy.
Double jab, double jab. Stepping up with the jab. Snap the jab. Do not lay that jab out there, okay? And roll. Then hit him on the arm with that hook. All right? Now pick up the punch count.
Don't jump in.
Words of Ronnie Shields there, who was a pretty good welterweight in his day. Gave Pepino Cuevas a pretty good fight some years back as we get ready for round 2.
Round number 2 scheduled for 12. The IBF Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship on the line and the USBA title as well. Rahman holds both belts. Tua the challenger in this one, and a stiff challenger at that. Tua, a good job in round number 1 of controlling the power and containing the power of Hasim Rahman, who really wasn't able to get off too frequently, and Tua was throwing the first punches and initiating most of the flurries.
Well, perhaps. I just don't know why Rahman allows himself, and even in the early stages of this round, to sit on the ropes and let Tua bang away at him when he can stick and move, and that's what his corner pretty much told him in between rounds. He's taller, and he doesn't need to take a beating in this fight. Make Tua get frustrated. Make Tua swing and miss. And by the 6th or 7th round, Tua's power will be diminished.
Tua, in typical Tua fashion, trying to plant his head right on the chest of Hasim Rahman.
I think Rahman is, he's landing more of the punches. There's no question about that. He's landing lefts, he's landing right crosses, but he does not need to take any chances, at least early on, while he still has his legs.
He's perfectly capable, too, of dictating this fight a little bit with the jab, which appears to be superior to what David Tua has done.
Oh, David Tua has no jab that's going to reach Rahman, although he does have those body shots that you just saw, because Rahman lets him come inside. Not crazy about it, the tactical fight that Rahman's fighting right now.
Third man in the ring is Telis Asamanos, and he has warned Rahman about that left elbow, which Tua was concerned about, as both fighters try to land haymakers against the ropes. Tua, a big right hand that lands over the top, and Rahman comes back and counters with 2 shots of his own.
Yeah. It just bewilders me. This is not to say that Rahman can't win this way, or maybe he thinks he has enough power to drop Tua, but to stay on the ropes and to allow Tua to get inside just makes no sense to me whatsoever. I'll bet you if Angelo Dundee, who was training Rahman, he'd be having a heart attack in the corner.
Might be shades of that Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns announcement, as he said, hey, you're blowing it, kid, but Rahman appears a little bit soft here in terms of his tactics, as we're coming near the end of round number 2.
Rahman starting to jab here, but I think that even though I thought Rahman landed more and probably stole round 1, I'm not so sure he's going to steal round 2.
Round 1, a difficult round to score. I actually favored David Tua in that one. Tua doing some solid work to the body, trying to grind down the rock. Hasim Rahman, who's never tasted defeat as a pro, 29-0.
Good left hook by David Tua.
10 seconds to go in this second round. Heavyweight starting to heat it up a little bit.
And a right.
Rahman comes right back with 2 counter shots of his own. And there's the bell to end the second round, and I think In the words of Mills Lane, they're about to get it on.
Two big left hands towards the end of that round by David Tua, the two best punches in the fight so far, albeit only 2 rounds in. But if these guys are going to go toe-to-toe at 234.5 for Rahman and 224.5 for Tua, this fight might not see round 12, might not see round 6.
Little to distinguish in those 2 rounds. I would imagine the judges are equally perplexed, as I thought Rahman in that final exchange might have pulled out round 2. And you're just the opposite.
I had it the other way, but either way, the fight is very, very close.
Here's a look at David Tua and the work that he did in the second round. That right hand over the top lands flush on the side of the temple of Hasim Rahman. Rahman unfazed by it, though.
This is a big left, I think, coming up by Tua, and that's one of 2 big left hands that he landed in that round, and that's why I thought that he ended up winning the round. I think that Rahman, unless he has some incredible power that I haven't seen, I think he's making a tactical mistake, allowing Tua to get so close, instead of doing what he's doing right now, which is sticking out that left jab and moving in a clockwise direction.
This is round 3, scheduled for 12. Hasim Rahman, the trunks with the red and white trim, and David Tua, the plain white stripe at the bottom of his trunks. Tua, the shorter of the 2 men, but he's been pressing the action, coming forward throughout the fight. Rahman content to move backwards and try and counter off Tua, who again swings with a wild right that nearly gets home.
Tua showing that he's got some quickness to match Rahman, but the problem with Rahman is he's not taking his, letting his natural advantages, dictate the fight. He's taller. He's got an enormous reach advantage. Does land the right hand there, but it doesn't seem to faze David Tua. David Tua didn't even stop moving forward when he got caught with that right hand.
At the same time, as you say that, Rahman appears to be unfazed by the power of David Tua at this stage. And those short inside punches are usually the most telling. We've seen Tua with some flashy shots, coming with looping right hands, but there it is again. Connects with the short right hand inside. Hasim Rahman.
That was his best shot of the night. A quick short right hand to the jaw of David Tua.
Trying to establish himself and maybe give an indication of just where his power comes from. And if it comes straight up the middle at short range, and Hasim Rahman might have himself a field day, as Tua, is going to come forward all night long.
I'd also expect, since this is the type of fight that Rahman has chosen to fight, that as Tua comes in, that Rahman, you would think, would be throwing some uppercuts, especially with the much shorter David Tua being the aggressor.
Asamanos warning Tua for some roughhouse tactics as he jostled with Hasim Rahman after an exchange. Rahman not finding the range with that jab, and that could be instrumental in this fight. You would think, if anything, that he could put David Tua a little bit further away from where he'd like to be if he could establish that jab early on.
Yeah, I don't know that he has to land everyone. I just think he has to throw it. But he's allowing Tua to hit him. I mean, Tua just landed 2 big body shots there, and those have to take their toll in time.
2 left hooks to the body. Rahman controlling the early portion of this round, and David Tua now coming on inside the final minute of round number 3.
I don't know that Tua has done enough to win this round just yet, but those body shots, as I say, could have after effects. I just don't understand the strategy of Rahman, although he is throwing a few more left jabs here as the round comes to a close.
Looks like he's content to just paw with the jab a little bit and try and land that straight right hand inside as Tua leans forward. Tua digging away to the body as if he was building a trench. And it may be a pit that Rahman eventually falls into. Good right hand there as we come to the close of round number 3. Rahman coming on and maybe stealing around on the scorecards.
Maybe we'll agree on one. I think that Rahman probably did win that round with better boxing skills early and very, very late. But those body shots, unless it's a mirage, I mean, you look at David Tua and you look like a house with a pair of trunks on. I mean, he's just a monster there, and he hits hard with both hands, and he's going to the body. The only fighter that I ever saw take monster body shots from a big puncher was, of course, Muhammad Ali in that famous fight in Zaire where he rope-a-doped, but I don't see any rope-a-doping here, and the rings here, the ring ropes here are a lot stronger.
All right, we'll get a look at the corner of David Tua. Going to see him in action here towards the end of round number 3. Tua unable to get through the guard of Hasim Rahman.
Well, he did land a body shot at the end. I think he's going to land another one here, right there. And those got to hurt. I'm sorry. And in those shots, Tua doesn't have to punch up. He's hitting him right in the belt.
The usual storyline of a David Tua fight as we begin round number 4 here for the IBF Intercontinental and USBA Heavyweight Championship. Hasim Rahman, the title holder in both categories. David Tua, the challenger, but much more at stake here. As we mentioned, bad blood spilling from the two camps. This fight was originally scheduled for September of this year. And the theory was that Hasim Rahman faked an injury, and then a lot of top heavyweights ducked out of an opportunity to fight David Tua. And David Tua determined to make a statement here against the Rock. Hasim Rahman comes out firing shots at the opening of round number 4.
Well, this is what Rahman needs to do, is keep popping that left jab and keeping Tua off balance and not getting on the ropes where he can get hit with body shots. He's already taken a couple body shots. There's a good, I don't know if he connected on that right hand. I couldn't tell from, we were kind of screened at this angle, but he did land about 4 jabs in a row, and there's a couple more.
There's a couple more, and that would look to be the formula of success for Hasim Rahman as he picks the pace up significantly here in round number 4, and now looks at Tua in open defiance, lands another jab and a right hand, just misses as Tua covers up inside.
Well, that's what he needs to do. If Abiyabuchi could beat Tua that way, Rahman, who has more skills than Abiyabuchi, should be able to do the same. You know, usually somewhere in the earlier rounds about this time, he starts letting Tua take him on the ropes and start landing some body shots and head shots of his own. Right now, he's sticking to his game plan, and he's an easy boxing winner when he does that.
Halfway through round number 4 of the scheduled 12-rounder, Rahman starting to pick up the pace and shows good hand speed. When he's firing the jab with some kind of purpose, he's able to make Tua pay with the right hand and able to make a statement with the right hand at the end of these exchanges.
But he needs to get out of the corner, and there he goes. He comes to his left and gets clear of that corner where Tua hopes to get him pinned in.
Tua not nearly as effective when he has to lunge and reach and move around the ring, and Hasim Rahman starting to pick up on that theme a little bit as Tua once again hammers away to the body with a couple of pulverizing shots.
Tua's very borderline on some of these shots. Some of them look like they could be low.
Rahman showing more movement in this round than he has in any of the previous 3. And we're starting to see low blows come in combination practically from David Tua. Asamanos, the referee, has yet to admonish either fighter for low blows in this fight.
Even though Rahman is winning this round and these exchanges may or may not do damage in this round, I don't know why he doesn't get out of the corner. Why does he subject himself to any blows, although he comes rallying back with a left-right combination?
Perhaps you have the reason as the crowd is on its feet. Hasim Rahman unloads a couple of right hands to the head of David Tua. 10 seconds to go here in round number 4, but Tua showing the kind of fortitude that we've seen throughout his career, just shakes him off and keeps going forward.
No, I don't think they hurt Tua at all, although they did score points.
Hasim Rahman establishing himself in round number 3 and then again in round number 4. As we go to the corner of David Tua and Lou Duva.
You gave away that round. Okay, no, we're not in the business of giving away rounds now. Okay? Listen to me. Look, you got to step it up now, okay?
He's hitting you with that jab. You're making him hit you with a jab.
Stay low,
Slip that
baby.
jab.
Stay low. Get down. Get down. Get down. Move that head. Come up with punches now. Look. Go with the up jab.
Rock,
Try the up jab, right?
I need you to use your feet a little more. And I don't want you against the ropes where he can pin you and rake your body.
You get a look at Hasim Rahman. Furious rally at the end of round number 4. Connecting virtually at will. And one of the things that you see with David Tua is you watch that replay and exchange in round number 4 of this fight. David Tua's lack of head movement has cost him in previous fights. And he's coming pretty much straight in at Hasim Rahman as Rahman begins to find a range. Here's round number 5, scheduled for 12. A couple of heavyweights on the crossroads. The IBF Intercontinental and USBA Championships at stake, and perhaps later on a shot at either Evander Holyfield or Lennox Lewis. If it's Holyfield, it'll be mandated if he can get by Lennox Lewis for the winner of this fight.
Rahman starting this round as he started every round with the left jab, trying to keep Tua in the middle of the ring. Tua obviously trying to get Rahman into the corner, although at the end of the previous round, that didn't help Tua much. Tua needs, right in situations like this, to just unload. But Rahman's got some experience, and he holds him up, and is not really letting Tua get off too much inside, although there are some body shots. Good right hand there by Rahman, who has the better hand speed and the decided height and reach advantage.
And Tua responded to that Ika Biabuchi loss, a controversial decision that he lost across 12 rounds for the WBC Intercontinental Championship. and has rallied off 5 wins in succession in the aftermath of that fight. Rahman's starting to show some movement now and showing some agility as he tries to evade the punching power of Tua inside, set himself up for another one of those short right hands.
If Rahman continues to stick and move and use that jab and get off the ropes, I don't see, unless Tua lands some lucky punch from out of nowhere, I don't see how Rahman can be beaten this fight, because he's got too much speed for Tua and he's got the size.
And Rahman gave some thought to throwing that uppercut that you had mentioned might be effective inside against the David Tua. As Tua doing virtually everything he can to try and take this one into a phone booth and shorten up the ring a little bit so he can go to work on the body.
You know, boxing fans assume that every fighter has every punch. And so when I suggest that Rahman should be throwing uppercuts, maybe he doesn't have a good uppercut. You know, it's not that, you know, it's like playing any sport. You know, some guys can hit jump shots but can't make a layup and vice versa.
Rahman holds his left hand extremely low. Tua unable to take advantage of that. Now chase leather upstairs as Rahman rallies once again, coming off the ropes as his corner advised him to do. There's an uppercut inside that exchange, and another 3 unanswered punches landed here by Hasim Rahman in round number 5.
Oh, Rahman picking up where he did at the end of the last round and starting to insert himself against David Tua, who has trouble getting in, as he did against the Biabuchi, against a bigger opponent. And you can see Rahman right there trying to get away from the corner and away from the ropes.
And with a powerful opponent like David Tua, it might not be unwise to use the kind of tactics that Hasim Rahman has employed in here, even though you thought in the early rounds he was giving Tua too much of an edge. As Tua comes on now with 2 vicious body shots towards the end of round 5, and Rahman tries to respond.
He did, with a big right hand to the head. But Tua got in a couple of good punches before that and landed one there. Right
Another
above
gut wrencher here at the close of round number 5. Sensational stuff from both men in the final 30 seconds of that round.
Problem is, it's too little too late for David Tua, who finds himself, at least on my scorecard, trailing by about 3 points, as I've got Rahman winning the last 3 rounds in a row. And it's not going to get easier for Tua, because when you're at a height and reach disadvantage to begin with, and
you're looking real good, but I need you to create distance. And when he starts that quick head movement, just slide off. Just slide off. Keep moving and jabbing and stepping short angles. Don't lay inside. I don't want an inside fight. You hear me? What I want, quick sticks, keep your composure and don't stay real focused.
Get down.
Everything off that jab.
Drop the fucking
No. I need to go now.
Let's go.
Here we go, round number 6 of this scheduled 12-rounder. David Tua and Hasim Rahman. Rahman, the red trim on his trunks, the taller of the 2 fighters, and I think he's established a rhythm in this fight. I have him also winning the last 3 rounds on the scorecard after the 2 fighters exchanged rounds 1 and 2, albeit somewhat controversially, and I imagine the judges at ringside also had some difficulty scoring those first couple of rounds.
I think Rahman only has to stay away a few more rounds, because after that, I don't know what Tua will have left. He certainly tired badly against the Biabuchi, who fought a similar fight to Rahman, but did not have the skill of Rahman.
And also, as Hasim Rahman again lands a couple of left jabs here and tries to set up something to the body, he might have taken a little bit of the starch out of David Tua. Although Tua fires a couple of hammering shots to the body once again. Hasn't gone upstairs too often in this fight. Had that one roundhouse right early on in round number 2, but since that time has almost concentrated exclusively on digging to the body.
Now, this is a tough fight. I was a little surprised when they made this fight. I mean, clearly Tua's going to be undersized in terms of height and reach against most heavyweights, but, you know, there's a pretty big differential here. 6'2.5" for Rahman, 5'10.5" for David Tua, who takes a couple of other shots to the head, including that one right there, a left hand by Rahman.
Against the advice of his corner, we saw Rahman on the ropes, and as we said, this fight was supposed to be made in September on the undercard of a Lennox Lewis championship fight, and the Tua camp claims that Hasim Rahman faked his way out with an injury, and that's when some of the politics started rearing their ugly head, and they were able to make this fight again, and it's a good thing they did. Very entertaining so far. Almost a toss-up as Rahman again backed up against the ropes by the power of David Tua.
Yeah. His corner cannot be happy about that. I mean, they've said pretty much what we've suggested here, that Rahman needs to stick and move.
Rahman again on the ropes, willing to come into Tua's territory. This is David Tua's office right here. He'll stand in here all day, just try and block punches and do what he can, what damage he can to the midsection of Hasim Rahman, who now holds on for the first time in this fight.
Rahman's actually fairly strong inside, and he's been throwing some body punches off the ropes. It just doesn't look like it has much of an effect on Tua.
24 knockouts from 29 victories for Hasim Rahman. Hasn't exhibited huge power, at least hasn't unleashed it yet against the likes of David Tua.
I would suspect that David Tua takes a pretty good punch.
10 seconds to go in round number 6 here. Hasim Rahman and David Tua. Tua rebounding, I think, from the 3 previous rounds and had a good performance here in round number 6. Comes to a close with another vicious exchange.
There's a view of Lou Savarese, who's one of many heavyweights on the scene that's looking for title shots and attention and big money paydays. And he's in the audience. A lot of boxing celebrities in the audience as well. In fact, a little while ago, Savarese was having exchanging pleasantries with Shannon Briggs, who fought Lennox Lewis not too long ago.
Tremendous interest in this fight for many reasons. The theory is that Lennox Lewis and Holyfield might not be around that long, and there's a young wave of heavyweights, including these 2 fighters, that will be on the scene and perhaps be dominant on the heavyweight scene for many years to come. You get a look at Hasim Rahman in his corner.
Here's a shot of Rahman hitting David Tua with a left hand as he comes in.
Nice job of taking advantage of the lazy punch, the lazy left thrown by Tua, and Rahman makes him pay with the counter punch. Round number 7, scheduled for 12, past the midway point in this fight. I gave David Tua round number 6, and I think he got himself back into it a little bit. Some hard body shots at the end, but I would imagine that the judges will have some trouble scoring this fight. It depends whether you like effective aggression or the counter-punching style that Rahman has displayed throughout much of this fight.
Tua's not going to win a decision over Rahman, I don't think. I think he's going to have to hurt him. He might get a decision if he hurts him, if he knocks him down or if he buckles him. But short of that, he just doesn't land enough punches. And the punches that he does land, some of them get through, but a lot of them are on the arms and on the gloves of Rahman. Although he hit him with a big 1-2 shot there, and Rahman came right back. Didn't look like it fazed him at all.
Well, early on, Lou Duva was imploring David Tua to throw punches with evil intentions, and now he's having a field day. 2 left hands followed by a sharp right hand to the head of Hasim Rahman. Rahman stands right there, true to his nickname, and takes it as if he was a rock.
And that's what Tua has to do. He has to maintain his aggressiveness. He's got to come in and throw punches. We talked about the body shots and how they could take their toll by as the fight goes on. And he's also landed a couple to the head of Rahman, who clearly is slowed down in this fight, in this round, Jeff.
Early in the round, Asimanos was kind of out of position. It looked like David Tua landed a couple of low blows.
Left hand.
Comes upstairs right there as he lands to the head of Hasim Rahman, and Rahman looks like he's lost some of his impetus in round number 7.
No, those punches are definitely hurting Rahman.
Another right hand by David Tua as Rahman leans against the ropes.
And this is a terrible, terrible mistake. I've said it since the beginning of the fight.
And for the first time, Rahman unable to answer back as Tua presses the action. And Rahman leaning against the ropes, showing the first signs of fatigue in this fight. David Tua landing some bombs here in round 7. Now Rahman tries to come back with a couple of right hands.
And look where this fight has been. They haven't moved out of this spot for about the last 40 seconds. And that's not where Rahman wants to be. He's landing some shots, but he's hitting them while he's going backwards. Tua doesn't seem fazed by them. The heavier blows clearly belong to David Tua right now, even though Rahman lands some jabs.
The jolting power not there from earlier in the fight with Hasim Rahman as he kind of struggles through this 7th round. David Tua dictating the pace in this stanza as we are inside of 30 seconds to go in round number 7. So just when you thought that Rahman had found some kind of a rhythm and was going to control the fight with a jab in his short right hands, David Tua fires back, and the bombs taking their toll. 10 seconds to go now. Round number 7. David Tua feeling it a little bit. Rahman misses with his counter shots. And Tua leaning in and is landing some heavy shots here in the corner as Rahman ends round 7 against the ropes.
Definitely David Tua's best round of the fight by far. As you get a look at Rahman in his corner.
Look at me. You're going to win this fight. You're going to win clean. But you got to start to use your feet and your hands by boxing. You're too good of a boxer. Let him in range to bite that left hand. And sharpshoot the right
And
hand.
you're losing it pretty good. The only way you're going to win is by knockout. And the only way you're going to knock this guy out is you got to throw punches. You just can't look at the guy. Get close and let him grab you.
Here's a good look at Tua coming on in round 7. Couple of left hands.
And Rahman comes back at the end of that exchange. Getting set now for round number 8. Interesting conversation. Lou Duva, perhaps using a little reverse psychology, saying to David Tua, after his best round of the fight, you're losing this fight. The only way you're going to win by knockout. He wants him to press further.
He's right. I rarely agree with Lou Duva, but he's absolutely right. Tua's got to keep throwing punches and put the pressure on Rahman. Don't let him up.
Hasim Rahman trying to reestablish the jab here in round number 8. David Tua continues to come forward. Backs Rahman against the ropes right above us in Rahman's corner.
This is, as you said, where Tua wants to fight. He wants it within 2 feet of the ropes.
Tua may as well set up a desk and a typewriter when he gets into this situation. This is the only way that he can win this fight. If Rahman can keep him at bay in the center of the ring and keep some distance, then he has the advantage.
But clearly, when they're up against the ropes, there's no height or reach disadvantage to David Tua. Rahman is allowing Tua to fight him on even terms.
See if Rahman can accelerate his pace here and find some energy, dig down deep for that second win that he appeared to lose in round number 7. The fight tightening up perhaps on the scorecards. I don't know if Lou Duva needs to impart the sense of desperation that he did to David Tua, but probably by the time they get around to the championship rounds, Tua would be in a situation where he might just need a knockout to win this.
Well, Tua's letting him off the hook here as Rahman goes back to his sticking and moving. Nice right-hand lead. Didn't hurt, but scored effectively.
Oh, we haven't seen the awe-inspiring power out of Hasim Rahman.
There's some big body shots on Tua, right, left. And I'm going to tell you, Rahman has to feel those. Those are big shots.
And we know that David Tua is one of the top body punchers in the game. A lost art in boxing. The old adage, kill the body and the head will eventually die. David Tua epitomizes that with his approach to the game.
Rahman doesn't have the zip. You know, it's not that easy to stick and move for 12 rounds, by the way, even if it's an effective way of winning a fight.
And if anything is going to go as a result of this onslaught to the body that continues to be upgraded by David Tua here in round number 8, it's going to be the legs.
David Tua is having his way to the body of Rahman. And I guess some tape is loose on the glove of Hasim Rahman, which is fortuitous for Rahman in my view.
A welcome break for Hasim Rahman, who looked like he lost a little of his wind in round number 7. And who could retain any wind with the attack to the body exhibited here by David Tua, just hammering away right and left hands in rapid fire. And he's done it since the opening bell. We knew that would be his strategy. We weren't sure coming into this fight that Hasim Rahman would allow him to throw as many unanswered body shots as he had, and also allow Tua to dictate the action along the ropes.
Tua is just pacing in the corner, sort of like a caged animal. He wants this fight to come back and start right away, as the cornermen for Hasim Rahman working on the tape on his left hand. Seems like an awful long wait, doesn't it?
There you see the work being done. The referee's right on top of this. I don't know that I've seen it take that long to tape up gloves since the days of Angelo Dundee.
They've taped up mummies faster in the old Egyptian days.
All right, David Tua, Hasim Rahman resume the action. Round number 8 of this heavyweight elimination bout. Rahman now comes on after the respite. As you mentioned, might have been a little bit fortuitous. They stopped the action right when David Tua seemed to be gathering momentum like there was no tomorrow.
He's warned again, Rahman is, for using his elbows.
Rahman trying to reestablish the jab, something that he's lost in the last couple of rounds. Comes in with a chopping right now as Tua vies for position. trying to wrestle his way inside to continue his assault to the body. 10 seconds to go here in round number 8. Hasim Rahman coming back a little bit on David Tua, who misses with a roundhouse left, and there's the end of the 8th round of this heavyweight title bout.
And I don't think there's any question that the taping episode did help Hasim Rahman as we get a look at Shannon Briggs, who I mentioned earlier was talking to Bruce Savarese around ringside.
There are people that feel that Shannon Briggs is the most talented of the young heavyweights that are on the scene, including these two fighters. But these are the two guys that have put themselves in a position to challenge for the heavyweight championship belts being held by Evander Holyfield. And that, of course, is saying a lot. That's if Holyfield can get by Lennox Lewis in their upcoming matchup.
What do you think was the inspiration for Briggs's dude?
I don't know, but his right hand has been significant. Controversial win over Big George Foreman, which...
Don't get close. Leaning into a hook. Jab, short right hand. Put your power on.
You hear the Rahman corner, and their cause for concern is a real one.
Well, I think both corners know what their fighters need to do. Rahman needs to stick and move, and Tua needs to put relentless pressure on Rahman if he intends to win this fight.
Final third of this fight about to begin. Round number 9, scheduled for 12 for the IBF Intercontinental and USBA Heavyweight Championships. Both belts worn by Hasim Rahman as he came into the ring. Will he wear them coming out of the ring? We'll find out as he answers a Tua left with a right hand of his own.
Looked like a kidney shot almost. Surprised there was no warning coming forth from the referee Teles Asimano.
Since perhaps round 4, we haven't really seen Rahman open up. And it looks like he might have gathered himself, perhaps that brief stoppage enabled him to get a second win. A little bit of swelling around the right eye of David Tua.
I think there's going to be some swelling around Rahman's pelvic area because Tua's body shots are awfully close to being low. And some of them aren't awfully close. They're just low.
He's throwing some pile-driving shots to the body. You can almost feel him here at ringside. So you can imagine what it's been like being inside of Hasim Rahman's body during this fight. Rahman with a left
right hand by Tua.
And Tua answers right back, firing some heavy shots now. Clearly the heavier blows in this fight in the last several rounds have been landed by David Tua.
He's got to land a lot of them.
He's been patient, continues to mount the body attack, pins Rahman against the ropes, fends him off with the elbows. Rahman tries to tie up.
Like every other round, Rahman spends it on the ropes, and those are the rounds he's losing.
Midway through round number 9 now, scheduled for 12. Rahman content to stand on the ropes. Tries to come off with a right hand, followed by a left. 3 short jabs in succession. That's the best mark we've seen for a while by Hasim Rahman.
That was a big opportunity for Tua, but he does come back. Even though some of those shots are picked off on the arms, you can hit on the arms long enough, you can't lift them.
Tua right there in front of the rock all night long, using the left elbow and shoulder as a shield as he works his way inside. Rahman has to make him pay once again up against the ropes. Difficult territory for Hasim Rahman.
Yeah, I don't know why, unless he just doesn't have the conditioning to stick and move all night. Although he is doing a good job coming off the ropes with that left jab. It's not a lethal punch, but it does get the attention of Tua and it keeps him off balance.
Both fighters showing a little bit of fatigue here in round number 9, involved in a lengthy clinch. Tua landed what appeared to be a shot below the belt.
For a change.
Tua again coming forward. Rahman greets him with a left hand as he comes in. Tries to tie up now, and Tua gets his hands free and lands 2 more stiff shots to the body.
Right, the borderline body.
10 seconds to go in round number 9. Rahman misses with a right hand. Comes home now with a left, followed by another. And then gets right himself at the close of round number 9.
Rahman got hit after the bell, and it stunned him. That was clearly after the bell, and he is hurt. And that's why Lou Duva's coming over and screaming. Look at Lou Duva. He came all the way across the ring to yell at the referee, Teles Asimano.
He's going crazy. That could get a fighter disqualified. David Tua rocked Hasim Rahman just after the bell. A furious exchange in the corner. Rahman's best punches of the fight.
And Rahman is hurt. There's no question about that. There's no question that that punch was late. Try to get another look at that, but that was a monster left hand. Right
there
there,
you see
right
it,
after
right
the
on the
bell.
button.
Right on the button, and it's staggered. Hasim the Rock Rahman. And you can, the referee, you can see by his expression what he said, even without knowing what he said.
Hasim Rahman
that was late.
had his legs buckled. Lou Duva came clear across the ring. I don't know what kind of a case he was trying to build. You didn't have to be Perry Mason to figure out that that punch came a little bit late at the end of round number 9. We'll see what Rahman has left, how he responds as David Tua comes on strongly now at the outset of round number 10. Throwing punches with reckless abandon, and Rahman is hurt.
Definitely hurt.
Rahman taking shots. He's about to go down. Only the ropes are holding him up, and Hasimanos is going to stop it right here.
And he should. And by the way, Rahman just headbutted or came close to headbutting the referee.
Hasim Rahman complaining about the stoppage. He was being beaten unmercifully in the corner, still feeling the effects of a shot that came, in our opinion, just after the bell in round number 9. David Tua came across the ring with the clear intention of wanting to rock Rahman out, knock him right out of the ring, and he was able to do so. An incredible rally by David Tua. And what a turn of events in this fight. David Tua strips the title belt, the IBF Intercontinental and USBA Championship belt, away from Hasim the Rock Rahman and puts himself right back in the hunt.
And I'll tell you something, Rahman has no one to blame but himself, even though the big punch, the left hook at the end of the 9th round came late, because he had no business being on the ropes. He didn't have to be on the ropes, and he allowed Tua to get inside to negate the height and reach advantage, and he paid the price. But I don't know if we'll get a chance to see this. At the end of this fight, when they stop the fight, Rahman goes right after the referee, bumps him, and it looks like he almost headbutted him. I couldn't tell if they actually connected with their heads, but he definitely made contact with referee Telis Hasimanos. The strangest thing of all about this fight, Jeff, is what was Duva doing, screaming and coming into the ring at the end of the 9th round? It was his fighter that took advantage of the late shot.
And Rahman is clearly stunned. There's the possibility that Hasimanos might have taken a point away from David Tua.
I didn't
at
notice
that time. I didn't see any kind of motion from the referee. He appeared to just want to separate the fighters and send them back to their corner. Lou Duva catapulted over the top rope as if he had been shot out of a cannon. We've seen that kind of action from Lou Duva in the past, but clearly stunned here is Hasim the Rock Rahman. Not happy at all about the way this fight ended up, as you would imagine that he would be, but he was unable to dismantle the barrage from David Tua and was taking just incredible punishment at the beginning of round number 10.
If you think there was bad blood between these fighters before this fight, you can imagine how the corner of Hasim Rahman feels now with, as I believe all replays will verify, the telling blow at the end of round 9 coming just after the bell.
So a 10th round stoppage by David Tua as he catapults himself into the championship picture once again. Coming back nicely and rallying that controversial loss, the only blemish on his record, to Ika Biabuchi. Lost by decision. Fight that a lot of people thought at ringside could have gone either way.
All right, here's the end of the fight. This is right above us. Tua just hammering away at will. And I think pretty soon the referee will come in, and when he does, watch what Rahman does. Didn't get enough of it.
Yeah, David Tua just firing away 12, 15 unanswered punches. I think the referee did exactly what he had to do and stopped this fight.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about that. Yeah, there it was. He just went after him right at the end. You could see him push him back. And from my angle, it looked like he might have done more than just push him.
All right, going to get the official time from Mark Biro in just a sec. Pandemonium in the ring. We saw police climb into the ring, and the bad blood continues to pour over as David Tua and Hasim Rahman perhaps resolve nothing in this fight, except that you'd like to see these two engaged in a rematch.
Oh, this was a heck of a fight. I mean, you want action, and you want heavyweight action. You just saw it with Hasim Rahman and David Tua, who comes up big down the stretch.
All right, going to get a look at the end of round number 9 and the controversy that was sparked by this.
That's the left hook right there as the referee was coming in to signify the end of the round. And that's what put Rahman on Queer Street.
And here it is one more time. Rahman was just coming on, actually had one of his best exchanges and rallies of the fight before Tua.
Well, this is the end of the fight in the 10th round.
The time, 35 seconds of the 10th round. The winner by tactical knockout and new IBF Intercontinental and USBA heavyweight champion, David Tua.
One of those fights where the fans clearly got their money's worth as David Tua and Hasim Rahman waged war here in South Florida. Miccosukee Indian Gaming Sports and Entertainment Dome, rocking to the tune of Hasim Rahman and David Tua. Tua emerges with the victory. 33-1 now. As there was controversy at the end of round 9. Did not see the indication that there may have been a point deduction for hitting after the bell. Lou Duva flew across the ring, which
is unimaginable, since his fighter's the one that got the benefit of the late shot.
Yeah, well, if he had anything to complain about, it might have been getting the point deduction.
I didn't see any point deduction. I don't know what, and I don't think that Lou would have had time to see it, even if there is one. Well, if there was one.
He had to be halfway in midair. Getting ready to climb in. Let's go up to Larry Merchant with the referee.
All right, thank you very much, Jim. Why did you stop the fight?
Larry, the guy could not defend himself on the ropes. He was taking shots on his head non-stop. I didn't have a choice. We don't have a standing 8 count in the state of Florida. I advise the fighters, if they are in the same situation, go down on one knee to get a standing 8. To get an 8 count.
When did you advise them to go to a knee?
I advised them before the fight in their dressing rooms, both fighters, because we don't have. We're watching here, and
so you're saying that he should have taken a knee and then
right
he could have survived.
Right here, I think.
You see, but none of those punches. That punch landed, but that punch didn't land. I mean, only one of those last 3 or 4 punches landed flush.
From what I was seeing, the punch was landing. At one point, the ropes held him from going down.
Could you call, if the ropes were keeping him from falling down, couldn't you therefore call that a knockdown?
Yes, you can. Indeed, you can. However, he was squatting on his thighs too, and I didn't know if he's, it was not very clear right here. You see him, the ropes barely hold.
He was sitting on the middle strip. You could conceivably have called that a knockdown.
He took 3 and 4, 5, 6 punches on the jaw unanswered.
All right, so that your feeling is, despite the fact that he appeared to be winning the fight and even controlling the fight, that barrage of punches put him too much in danger.
He didn't look, when I saw his face, he looked a little bit dazed on me.
What about the punch at the end of the previous round that came immediately after the bell?
Well, I heard the bell ringing at the same time a punch was flying. So it was right after seemed like after the bell, but I mean, it was impossible to stop a punch like that.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Larry.
All right, Jim.
Okay, before we go back up to the ring and talk to the
you get the impression that Larry Merchant felt in opposition to our viewpoint that the stoppage was unjustified. Now, interesting that the referee, Asamanos, explained that he had told the fighters that they found themselves in trouble at any particular juncture and they wanted to get an 8 count, they would have to take a knee. Hasim Rahman obviously didn't remember that as he was getting hit by a sledgehammer in the name of David Tua, and he did not take a knee, could not get a standing 8 count, and found himself being counted out of this fight.
By the way, Jeff, I've been informed that 2 of the judges at ringside had Rahman ahead 89-82 at the time that the fight was stopped.
All right, we're going to pick up an interview with Larry Merchant and David Tua, the victor tonight.
Set up the victory.
First of all, for Tyler Tua, from Unit Talonga, I'd like to thank God for giving me the strength and the courage to go through it and take care of business tonight. And only that, first and foremost, I thank Dino, all the people at main events
David, let's talk
for
about
working this fight out. I thank Ronnie, the sparring partner, Sam Hampton, and Tim Knights for giving me the opportunity. Yeah, you're right, Larry. I knew it was going to come because, you know, every time he was setting that left jab out there, he was coming on with that right hand, and he was putting everything into it. And I knew that the more I make him miss, the more tired I was going to get. And sooner or later, I knew it was going to catch up. And as you know, when I was getting inside him, he was hardly doing nothing, and I knew he was breathing a little bit harder.
But he seemed to be controlling and even dominating the fight to the point where at the end of the 7th round, Lou Duva was saying, you have to knock him out.
I did just that.
You did. All right, let's, if we can get a look at the end of the fight, David, we'll take a look at that final fuselage. This is at the end of round 9, and that was the punch that really, he seemed to relax when the bell rang, and that's when you caught him.
Ronnie said to go in there and just punch, you know, punch with, you know.
Did you think he was helpless on the ropes?
Sure, I knew it. Like I said, he was starting to slow down. His pace was starting to slow down, and he was starting to drop his hand lower when I was getting inside.
He had been sort of controlling you with his jab. Did you feel that you were out of it in the first half of the fight and that it was just too hard to get inside him?
Sure, you know, it was pretty frustrating at times. You know, at times I thought I was going to make him miss, but, you know, he controlled the fight with his jab. But I knew I had confidence in my fitness. Sooner or later, I knew it was going to catch up with him.
You did. Once again, thank you, David Tua, and congratulations. And we'll talk.
So David Tua sets himself up perhaps for title contention in the heavyweight division. A controversial end to this fight as David Tua go up into the ring, and here's Hasim Rahman with Larry Merchant.
The bell rang. Is that an accurate portrayal of what happened?
Well, I thought the bell had already rung, but maybe I'm mistaken. But when you got 2 punches in the ring, when you have 2 punches in the ring, people bound to get buzzed from time to time in a 12-round fight. This is a championship eliminator bout. You're not supposed to rob the champion in a fight like this. I mean, if you look at the replay, he hit me with some shots, but he was missing some shots. I was coherent. I was still making him miss punches, and I was punching back.
Let me ask you this.
And I'm 29 wins with 1 robbery. And do you think it was a fair?
All right, let's take a look at the end of the 9th round, and you describe what happened.
Good punch after the bell. A good punch. Yeah, he's a puncher.
When you came out in the fight to the point where at the end of the 7th round, Lou Duva was saying, you have to knock him out.
I did just that.
You did. All right, if we can get a look at the end of the fight, David, we'll take a look at that final fuselage. This is at the end of round 9, and that was the punch that really, he seemed to relax when the bell rang, and that's when you caught him.
Ronnie said to go in there and just punch, you know, punch with, you know.
Did you think he was helpless on the ropes?
Sure, I knew it. Like I said, he was starting to slow down. His pace was starting to slow down, and he was starting to drop his hand lower when I was getting inside.
He had been sort of controlling you with his jab. Did you feel that you were out of it in the first half of the fight and that it was just too hard to get inside him?
Sure, you know, it was pretty frustrating at times. You know, at times I thought I was going to make him miss, but, you know, he controlled the fight with his jab. But I knew I had confidence in my fitness. Sooner or later, I knew it was going to catch up with him.
You did. Once again, thank you, David Tua, and congratulations. And we'll talk.
So David Tua sets himself up perhaps for title contention in the heavyweight division. A controversial end to this fight as David Tua go up into the ring, and here's Hasim Rahman with Larry Merchant.
The bell rang. Is that an accurate portrayal of what happened?
Well, I thought the bell had already rung, but maybe I'm mistaken. But when you got 2 punches in the ring, when you have 2 punches in the ring, people bound to get buzzed from time to time in a 12-round fight. This is a championship eliminator bout. You're not supposed to rob the champion in a fight like this. I mean, if you look at the replay, he hit me with some shots, but he was missing some shots. I was coherent. I was still making him miss punches, and I was punching back.
Let me ask you this.
And I'm 29 wins with 1 robbery. And do you think it was a fair?
All right, let's take a look at the end of the 9th round, and you describe what happened.
Good punch after the bell. A good punch. He's a puncher.
When you came out for the next round, were you still buzzed from that?
I was not buzzed. I was not buzzed. I mean, the man is a puncher. I mean, man, I'm the champion. I deserve the respect as a champion. The man should not have jumped in there. It wasn't like he was hitting me. My hands was down. I was still defending myself. And it's a championship 12-round fight. You gonna start the fight in the 10th round?
All right, let's take a look, and you can tell us what you see in that final few.
I see him hit me with a punch. He missed the punch. He missed the punch. Good body shot.
One body shot got it.
He hit me with, it wasn't nothing on that good hook. Miss. These are not solid shots. Miss. My hands up. Man, oh, he missed 4 shots in a row, and he stopped the fight. He missed 4 shots in a row, and he stopped the fight.
Let me ask you this. The referee said that he told both fighters...
Oh, man, look at that ref.
The referee said that before the fight, he told both fighters...
If I'm hurt, take a knee?
Take a knee.
I wasn't, obviously, if I wasn't defending myself, I would have took a knee.
It occurred to you at that moment that you could have taken a knee?
It occurred to me the whole fight that if I was ever in that, had the round continued, the round before, had it been a minute left in that round, maybe I would have took a knee.
Will you try to protest the end of this fight and try to get a rematch?
Man. Be filing with the IBF immediately to protest this decision by the referee.
I was running away with the fight.
He was winning almost every round
of this fight. I was running away with the fight.
He was dominating
How can you stop the champion like that?
The referee had no right to stop the fight this time. We will demand an immediate rematch, and hopefully the IBF will give justice to this man.
Thank you very much.
What you think?
Jim?
Well, so, a strong case by Rahman that perhaps it was a Brinks job, but David Tua emerges with the victory here in this heavyweight showdown.
I don't see what in the world Rahman's got to complain about. He was hit about 10 times there at the end. He threw 1 punch back. He got hit with body shots, rights, lefts to the head. He had no business being on the ropes. He was on Queer Street at the end of round 9. And to me, I had Rahman ahead, but not by as much as the ringside judges.